I think signing my first professional contract was obviously a dream come true. Every time I went to Stamford Bridge as a kid, I always wondered what it'd be like to walk out, with the crowd cheering and what the atmosphere would be like. And then that was the day that I done it, and I realised, I thought, wow.
Reece, what a few months it's been for you, from winning the Champions League with Chelsea, going all the way to the final Euro 2020 with England. But we wanted to talk to you today a little bit more about your journey to getting here. Now, we often hear with footballers that football's always been a huge part of their life. But for you, with your family, how important was football for you from a very young age?
Ever since I grew up, football was kind of all I knew. With my older brother and my younger sister, we'd just go out to the park whenever we had a chance, and I'm sure, like many other players now, football was kind of all I had growing up and all I knew.
Does that come from your dad? Because your dad used to play as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I think my dad obviously influenced all of us, and obviously helped us get to where we are today. Yeah, I think he's played a massive part in our starting to play when we were so young as well.
What was it like in your household growing up? Because with three kids who were obviously desperate to be footballers, I imagine there were some pretty competitive games that went on.
Yeah, it was carnage, We'd always play in the house and be breaking vases and yeah, messing around all the time. And obviously my mum wouldn't be too happy kicking the ball around in the house, but I guess it's paid off.
What was your earliest memory of football? Can you remember?
I'd probably say my earliest memory was getting scouted for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I was in a tournament, I think, when I was around 6 or 7.
At that point, what were you dreaming of? Who were you idolising?
That time, ever since I'd come to Chelsea, I always looked up to Drogba. Yeah, when I was young, I was a striker, so I loved the way he played, I loved the celebrations, and yeah, I just wanted to be like him.
So if you were a striker, how have you ended up being a fullback? How did that happen?
I was a striker, and then I moved to midfield when I was maybe 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. I stayed there for maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and then it was around 14, 15 where I wasn't really playing in midfield because there was better players at the time, and then I found myself playing right back, and I hated it for maybe 2 years. I hated it. I never wanted to play there. And then one day just clicked, and I just started enjoying it, and I just loved it.
What clicked? What changed?
I don't know, I think the penny just dropped that I'm not going to be playing midfield anymore, and this is my new position.
You get a lot of praise for your crossing ability. That's one of the real strengths of your game. Do you think that's been helped by the fact that you've played different positions on the pitch as well, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I think it all links together, but when I first moved there, that was probably one of the areas that I focused on quite a lot. When I was 15 or 16, we had individual programs, and crossing was one of my points to work on.
The position has changed a lot as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The position is probably a very key position in every team. Everyone looked at a defender as a right back or left back before as just a right back or left back that doesn't really move. But now I'd say they're much more attacking. They have the licence to bomb on as well, and yeah, I think they're key players now.
I know you're going to be biased, but would you say it's one of the hardest positions to play on the pitch now because you need such a wide skill set?
But yeah, it's definitely not easy. You have to be very fit. You have to be able to attack as well and defend. Yeah, it's definitely not an easy position.
Can't really say it, so can you really? Let's go back to March 2017 when you first signed a professional contract. That year you won the Toulon tournament and the European Under-19 Championships. How special, when you look back on that year, was it?
I think signing my first professional contract was obviously a dream come true. I wanted to be a professional ever since I was a little boy here, and then to put pen to paper, I was over the moon, and my family was obviously very happy as well. And then to go away in the summer, and I played in the Toulon tournament first, and then I wasn't meant to go to the Euros, but I think someone got injured, and I got called up for that as well. And then I ended up winning both tournaments that summer. You
also won the FA Youth Cup with Chelsea as well. You got a taste of winning very, very young, didn't you? How do you think that's kind of helped your development?
Yeah, I think coming right through the academy, they always instilled a winning mentality into us. Even if you're 9 years old, the aim is always to win. And even when you get to 16, 17 and you look at the Youth Cup record, probably in the last 10 years they've won maybe, 8 of them. So the expectation is very high, you know, to win pretty much every competition you're in.
Chelsea have a very successful academy. You just alluded to how much the academy itself wins, but not every player makes it through to the first team. At what point did you maybe realise that you could?
I always felt I had the ability to make it into the first team, but you know, sometimes you need to be given a chance. Probably when I was on loan, I finished that season and then came back, and then there was talks that Frank Lampard was going to get the job. And then I played against him a few times that season, and I thought maybe if he gets the job, then he might want to keep me and maybe give me a chance. And that's when I first got my first insight of maybe staying.
That loan that you talked about then was, of course, at Wigan. And let's be honest, it couldn't really have gone much better for you, could it? You got into the Championship Team of the Year, you won pretty much everything at Wigan's end of season awards. What was it about that loan spell that just went so right, that just fitted you?
To be fair, I don't really know how to put it into words. When I first got there, I was nervous, uncomfortable. I didn't really know anyone. I was far from home. The first probably 2 weeks I was lonely, but then kind of as the season went on, I got to know more people, I got to know the area better. And yeah, I don't know, I just think that the team and the set of lads was very good, and they helped me a lot. And then I think just week by week I grew, and our performances got better, and my performances got better as well.
Obviously at that point you knew that the ultimate goal was still to come back to Chelsea and do well. You must have felt at that point like you'd done everything you possibly could, but did you expect to come back and be as heavily involved in the first team as you were the following season?
Truthfully, no, I didn't. I thought maybe I might have to have maybe one more season, maybe at a Premier League team before maybe I got my chance. But it came sooner than I expected, and I'm thankful for getting my chance and for where I am now.
You mentioned him before, but Frank Lampard was the manager. What was it like coming back, knowing he was the manager here, and you said you'd played against his derby teams, but also knowing the fact that he was going to give young players a chance?
No, it was great, you know, for all of the young lads that was like in and around the Championship that year when he was there, so Tammy, Fikayo, Mason. It was great, you know, because we knew that he likes playing young players and he believed in our ability. And yeah, I'm very happy he gave all of us a chance, and we're still here now fulfilling our dream.
It must make it even more special. Some of the stuff, like we talk about the Champions League, the fact that so many of the players that have come through the Chelsea Academy, you've kind of achieved that together.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was 4 or 5 of us come through at the same time, and to achieve winning the Champions League so young is obviously great. You know, we all had wanting to win it in our career, but you know, it coming only 2 years into our Chelsea career was obviously a bonus as well.
Big bonus, I'd say. Going back to that first full season back at Chelsea under Frank Lampard, you got an injury quite early on, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did that feel at the time? Because you never want to get an injury, but that must have felt so untimely, so cruel.
Yeah, I was definitely upset at the time. As soon as I done it, I knew that it was probably the worst time to get an injury, because a new manager come in, and I knew that I'd be behind everyone because I wasn't going in at the same time. So I knew it was going to be very tough, and it was a tough injury. You know, I tried to recover, and then I had to have surgery, and it was just long and annoying. But yeah, I mean, I got through it, and then it took time, and I got to about Christmas time where I started playing again.
Let's talk about your debut, because in terms of, we talked about your loan couldn't have gone much better. Your debut in the EFL Cup, I think it was. Could that have gone much better?
To be fair, I don't know. I mean, it was obviously a dream come true to make my debut at Stamford Bridge, and then to score as well. And
you got a couple of assists as well, and the man of the match?
Yeah. To be fair, it was obviously a bit surreal, you know, walking out of Stamford Bridge and then scoring and getting a few assists. It was, I mean, I was speechless. What
was the feeling like finally walking out at Stamford Bridge? Because I imagine you'd been at so many games watching throughout the years, throughout your development, watching other players do it, and you were finally getting to do that. Yeah,
I mean, every time I went to Stamford Bridge as a kid, I always wondered like what it'd be like to walk out, you know, with the crowd cheering, and what the atmosphere would be like. And then that was the day that I done it, and I realised, I thought, wow.
You did really kick on from there, and then you became a regular in the Premier League season. You became the youngest scorer in the Champions League in a 4-4 draw with Ajax. Did you expect it to kind of go so well, to all of this to click, after the difficulties you had in terms of that injury and everything, and then the way you became such a regular?
No, I think it's difficult, you know, you can't, well, you never know how things are going to pan out, you know, you can't look too far ahead, you just kind of have to take things as they come, and then when, you know, good things happen, opportunities come, you kind of pick up momentum and find yourself playing more often, and then that's when you find good form.
How good did it feel as well when the club rewarded you with that new long-term contract as well?
Yeah, it was obviously very good, you know, to sign another 5 years, obviously at Chelsea. It shows that they have belief in me and they want me here for the long term. And yeah, it was obviously, I was so proud to extend my stay here. The greatest day of my life so far. I don't think we could have faced a better team at the time. You know, Man City just come off the back of winning the Premier League and they was very much in form that season. I think winning that just showed how far we come and how hard we worked towards the back end of that season.
Will this be the day when anticipation becomes reality? John Terry and co finally close out the title race. Hazard down, penalty. Maybe this will be the breakthrough moment. Hazard for Chelsea, really poor penalty, but from the follow-up, a nod of approval makes it 1-0. Top of the class though, in just about every category. Chelsea are champions of England for the 5th time, Premier League winners for the 4th time in 11 years.
After the months of silence and eeriness, fans in full voice, how sweet the sound. Another 9-month bounty, the gift that keeps on giving. That heady mixture of excitement and optimism. It's a time to dream.
That is sublime! Absolutely fizzing football! Smashing goal! About that!
The 2021 season was a little bit more difficult in terms of losing a manager midway through the season, the manager that, as you talked about, did give you your chance. What was it like when Frank Lampard left initially?
It was very tough because I've never been through like a manager getting the sack halfway through the season, so I didn't really know what it was going to be like. I didn't know what our new manager was going to be like or his staff. So I was a bit nervous at the time on the whole like changeover of staff and getting to know new people and stuff. But yeah, everyone at the time was very disappointed that Frank Lampard got the sack. But I mean, everything happens for a reason, and that season we went on to win the Champions League.
Yeah, it didn't go too badly, did it? Let's talk a little bit about Thomas Tuchel, because what sort of impact has he had on you as a player?
I think he's had the same impact on not just me but the group. You know, ever since he walked in, he made his message quite clear and evident on what he wants. He's very ambitious and wants to win, you know, and very passionate as well.
I was going to say, what's he like? Because we see him very passionate in pre-match interviews, post-match interviews as well. Is he like that on the training pitch?
Yeah, definitely. Every day you see him. Even if he's walking around not on the training field, he's just passionate. He wants the best. He wants the best for every player, you know, in every training and every time we step onto the field. He just wants us to win and perform at the highest level.
Chelsea have got an abundance of really talented young players like yourself, Mason Mount, Tammy, that we've mentioned, but there's also some experienced heads in there, and I read that there's one in particular who's particularly helped you.
Yeah, there's a few. Aspie has helped me a lot. Ever since I came over, we was in the same position, and he's obviously the captain. So he kind of put his arm around me first and kind of said that you need to be patient. And it's going to be tough, but your time and your chance will come, and you need to be ready to take it with both hands.
Thiago Silva as well. I read another interview where you said how instrumental he's been.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here looks up to Thiago. I mean, he was captain at PSG for a number of years and captain of Brazil. And yeah, I think his experience shows on the pitch, and his aura, the way he carries himself around the place. Everyone looks up to him.
Does he talk to you a lot individually? Does he kind of try and help you defensively?
Yeah, definitely. Whenever he sees a situation where he thinks he can help you, he always try and get the message across, even if he's getting someone to translate it.
We already have talked about it multiple times, of course, because winning the Champions League was always going to come up before we got to that point in your career. But we talk about this meteoric rise. What was that day, that occasion, the aftermath of winning the Champions League like for you?
The greatest day of my life so far. I don't think we could have faced a better team at the time. Man City just come off the back of winning the Premier League, and they was very much in form that season. And yeah, I think winning that just showed how far we come and how hard we worked towards the back end of that season.
For you personally as well, and Ben Chilwell, I particularly received so many plaudits for the way you kept Man City quiet. Personally, was that one of the best games you've played in your career as well?
Yeah, I definitely think it was probably one of the best games I played, because it was against such a good team and such good quality players as well. I mean, we all know how good Riyad Mahrez and De Bruyne and the other Manchester City players are, and on their day, I mean, even off their day, they're world class still. So we knew it was going to be a tough test.
I think I saw photos of you with your sister Lauren on the pitch. How special was that?
Yeah, it was obviously great. My sister being there. She's been on my journey ever since I was a little boy. She knows that I always wanted to win the Champions League one day, and she was there that night when I won it.
Yeah, we'll talk about your sister in a little bit, because she's been on this journey and she obviously knows a fair bit about football as well. But off the back of the Champions League, you actually got a tattoo of the Champions League trophy. Why was it so important to get that to you? And it says dream, believe, achieve on it as well.
I mean, I always said that one day, hopefully, I'll win it, and when I win it, I will get the tattoo of the trophy on my leg. And yeah, I mean, it was always my dream to win it, and you have to believe. And then we won it, so yeah, that's why I got that motto at the top. Yeah, it was the best feeling winning it.
Did that give this group of players the belief that everything that Thomas Tuchel had come in to do, he was doing, and that this could be the start of something really special, a special era for Chelsea?
Yeah, definitely. We have young players, old players, experienced players. We have a very good mix in our changing room, and I think we have everything to go on to achieve whatever we want to achieve. This season we have lots of titles and trophies that we can win.
We talked about her before, but let's talk about your sister a little bit more as well, because Chelsea's women's team are obviously hugely successful, getting to the Champions League final themselves this season. And she, of course, joined Chelsea this summer from Manchester United. Firstly, how influential were you in getting her to come here?
I mean, she's her own person. She supports Chelsea and always has. And when she left here a number of years ago, she always said that she wanted to come back and play here. This was her dream. And yeah, this summer it came around where she returned, and now she's back.
How special is it for you having her here at the same club as you?
Yeah, it's very special. When she played in Manchester, we spoke quite often, but I never really saw her because it was so far. She was always playing, I was playing. It was quite difficult to catch each other at the right time.
Will we be seeing you at some of the Chelsea women's games, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm not playing and I have time, I'll definitely get down and give it a watch as well.
Obviously an incredibly successful season at club level for you, and then you went away with England in the summer as well, and what a summer it was for the nation getting to the final. What was that whole experience like for you?
It was the whole atmosphere, you know, from the get-go to the whole way throughout the tournament was just unreal. You know, the support from everyone, you know, having the fans back in the stadium, just the atmosphere around the camp was just unreal.
It looked that way from the outside, the atmosphere around the camp. Something that maybe some international teams struggle with or have struggled in the past with is squad rivalries. But it didn't look that way with England this year. Is that really what it was like internally?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was there. You know, we was there for 5 weeks, and everyone wanted to win. You know, we kind of had to put rivalry aside, and we're one team, and we all wanted to achieve the end goal of winning the trophy and the competition. But it wasn't possible this year. But I'm sure we'll be back, hopefully ready to win it soon.
I mentioned it before about the fact that there is such an abundance of right-backs, and there was, again, in the England squad this year, of course, despite Trent Alexander-Arnold having to pull out. For you personally, was there a tinge of disappointment that you didn't play more because you got the one start against Scotland?
Yeah, of course. You know, as a football player, you want to do your job and play. And obviously when you're not playing as much as you'd like, it's always disappointing and quite hard to take. But you can't let it affect you or affect the other players. You know, you kind of have to be a good team player, because you know you never know when you're going to get your chance or when you're going to be counted on. So yeah, you have to keep your standards high and just be ready for whenever they call on you.
Team does feel like a quite important word when you talk about England in particular, and Gareth Southgate made such a big thing of using the whole squad, so players like yourself that maybe didn't play as many minutes as you would have liked still felt incredibly part of it. Is that how you felt? Yeah,
definitely. You know, there was even some players that didn't play at all, and you know, just everyone's just the way they carried themselves, the atmosphere around the place. You know, you could see that everyone wanted the best for each other and everyone wanted to win.
Another reason that the England squad connected so well with the nation was the fact that so many players within that squad give back and want to help people. We hear a lot about Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, and you too do as well, don't you? You help the vulnerable. What can you tell us about your charity efforts?
Yeah, I do a little bit of charity work with the Felix Project, and I just try and give back when I have spare time, to give back to the less fortunate, you know, the kids that go hungry or don't have as much food as they need.
What was it that sparked your imagination that thought, I've got to do something, I've got to give back?
No, I thought I have quite a big name, you know, people know who I am and I have a voice, so I need to use it. You know, it's pointless having it and not trying to help people that need help.
You're being very modest there and you're just saying, oh, I'm helping, but it's not just financial, is it? You've given financial, but you give up your time as well. What do you do when you go and help these people?
I go to the depot and organise food there sometimes, or I'm either out delivering food to other local smaller charities. Yeah, so I have one of them 2 roles that I do there.
How rewarding do you find that?
Yeah, it's very good. You know, it's some people, when they see my face, they sometimes a bit surprised. They don't expect me to be delivering their food. So it's very good to see it when people recognise me and they're a bit shocked. How
important is it that footballers use their platform for the greater good, do you think? Is there a pressure, perhaps, to do that?
No, I wouldn't say there's a pressure. I think, I don't know how to explain. It's very good because, you know, a lot of people stereotype footballers as, I don't know, drive nice cars, big houses, and, I don't know, go out party, but that's not everything about footballers. There might be the odd footballer that likes that, but there's many good footballers that want to give back.
You're an incredibly humble individual, as I said, but you've achieved so much at your young age, not only with England, with Chelsea, and now everything that you're doing aside from that as well. What do you still want to achieve? What are your ambitions for your career?
I mean, I don't know, I want to win as many trophies as possible with Chelsea, you know.
So let's talk about the opening game of the season. Stamford Bridge rocking full for the first time in I don't know how long. Crystal Palace at home. How much are you and the players looking forward to that?
Yeah, I think everyone's looking forward to it. You know, I mean, I can't remember the last time that we had the bridge full. It's been so long, and you know, it's going to be a tough game. You know, Palace are a good side, and we need to prepare right going into the game and hopefully kick us off to a good start to our first Premier League season.
We talk about the idea of a packed Stamford Bridge and the noise it could make. I saw the footage of when Cesar Azpilicueta and the rest of you guys brought out the Champions League trophy to parade to the fans ahead of a pre-season friendly. I heard the roars. How special was that to finally be able to show your home fans that trophy? Because of course, not everyone could get to Porto.
Yeah, it was obviously great, you know, bringing our trophy back home and showing our fans. I'm sure there was many fans that loved to have been there that night, but unfortunately it wasn't. So it was so good to walk out with the trophy, you know, on our home soil and show our fans the trophy.
It's easy for us as people that have been at games or been watching games to say we miss the fans. But as players, how different was it without fans, and what will they bring? What kind of, will they take you to a different level? What difference do they make?
No, it's very different, you know, playing in empty stadiums to playing with fans. You know, they, I don't know, give you a 10-15% extra boost. When the stadium's rocking, it's such a good feeling, you know, when you can't even hear your teammates 15 yards away from you.
We've seen some big names arrive in the Premier League this summer, and big names could still arrive. It looks like there's going to be a really exciting race for the Premier League title. How excited are you and optimistic are you of Chelsea's chances this season?
No, I think you know, it's a clean slate. We have a very good team. We have a very good manager, a very good staff. Our aim this season is to win the Premier League, and I hope we can do it.
And you've got space on the other leg then, I guess, as well, for a Premier League trophy. Have you said to yourself, if I win the Premier League, I've got to get a trophy tattoo? To
be fair, I haven't said that to me yet. But I mean, who knows? Maybe if we win the Premier League this season, then I might.
You're going to have to be careful, because if you say that too much, you're going to end up with your whole legs and arms done with the... You're only 21 and how much you've achieved already, so... And of course, you'll be keeping an eye out for Chelsea women this year as well, and hopefully they'll be regaining their WSL title. Yeah,
definitely. You know, they've pushed on over the last few years, and winning that title last season was very good, and hopefully they can keep on improving this season as well.
And it'll be a very happy James household if that happens.
Yeah, it will.
A domestic double potentially, and even more. Well, Reece, thank you so much for talking to us.
No,
it's been brilliant finding out about your journey.
Thank you.